Well, the other day when I talked about mentioning the bankruptcy again, I really debated about saying anything on here because there's always somebody, I should just let everything go. I should bulldoze the place down. If it got tore down by a tornado, it wouldn't be the worst thing type deal, which I don't understand. I mean, if you own something, you still want to fight to keep it. If you want to let all your shit fall down the tubes and get rid of it, that's fine. But, I have the right to work to keep what I got. And I'm going to add this. I made a playlist here the other day where it goes back to all the other videos I made talking about the hole I put myself in and what I've done to try to get out of it, from doing debt consolidation to filing bankruptcies. And I went through and I talked about the different bankruptcies. There's chapter 7, which if you own anything, you're not going to get into that, because basically you're going to sell everything to pay off what debt you can, and then if there's anything left, then you probably could get it just wiped out. And there's chapter 11, which I don't know all that much about. It's kind of I think it's more for corporate, but regardless of my situation, doesn't play any part. Like I said, I checked into chapter 7. Chapter 11 doesn't do nothing. I filed chapter 13, and that's the one I'm in. That's one of the better ones you can be in. Doesn't really hurt you that much. It's all voluntary, which you can opt out at any time. There's whole bunch of other things. Like I said, I've talked about it then, and I'm going to talk about it here later on in this video. And then there's chapter 12, which is mainly for farmers and fisheries. And I'll go later on into that, what options I have out here yet. But the one main reason I decided to continue making this video, make this one, and talk about it again, was because this is something that's an option for everybody. People look down on you to file bankruptcy. Well, in this world that we're in here now, the only way you survive is by playing the game. It's whether you're in the inner cities and getting Section 8 housing and food stamps, or whether you're in agriculture and getting subsidies from the government, or business, filing bankruptcy. It's just a tool to survive in this world nowadays. And like I say, if you want to survive nowadays, you've got to play the game. Nobody's looking out for you anymore. They're only out for themselves. And bankruptcy is one way to help protect yourself and your interests. And like I say, you can go back to these other videos. There's a playlist I made. And like I say, I put myself in this position because I lived on credit cards too much. Well, as usual, what's happened here now is just like everything else I've done for the last 5 years. I do something, figured I'm going to be able to get ahead. Nothing improves, and I've just gone the other way. So right now at this point, I'm going to be defaulting on this bankruptcy. And it's on the verge of being dismissed. And like I say, I'll get into this in a little bit. So it's just another tool to use in this world. Now, in all this process I've done, I still haven't got anything dismissed. I've still paid off debts. I'm still responsible for these debts. But there's other options that are going to come in that maybe a lot of this, what's left, might not amount to anything. Because again, filing bankruptcy puts part of the onus back on their debtors. They have to make the claims. So where I'm at here right now, because like I say, I have no income coming in. I got a job lined up hopefully for this fall. He should be calling back. I got other things coming, so things might ease up somewhat. But at this time, I can no longer afford the bankruptcy, so it's going to get dismissed. And then I'll explain all that and go into more detail what's going to happen here, hopefully. What's the next level of progressions and what the other next options are. Now I'm going to show a few things here. It's not going to be that visible because the ink is kind of faded out. But I'm going to show where I'm at here right now. Now, like when I did the debt consolidation, I did get one credit card paid off from that. And then there's, like I say, there's a video explaining a little bit of the ins and outs and how that's actually kind of a scam. It's not, they'll help you and it'll benefit you in the end, but it's more money-making scam for them. The way they calculate and how they negotiate for you, they're still out to make the most money they can. But like I said, I did have one credit card paid off from them. And then what led me into bankruptcy is I had one credit card sue me, which I didn't realize. They did get a judgment against me. And that was my biggest fear about defaulting on the bankruptcy. Because they have a judgment, the bankruptcy's protecting me from them collecting on it. But once the bankruptcy gets dismissed, then anybody that hasn't been paid yet can come back after me. Now the thing is, a lot of these here that I owe yet are debt collectors. Now I'm looking into that too, because if I'd known this before, I could have got some of them dismissed also. Because from what I've been seeing and some of the research that I've done, the reason why debt collectors are calling you and harassing you is they don't have all the information they need to pursue legal action towards you. And they're trying to get you, like say you owe them $5,000. Thing is, they don't have that $5,000 debt. They bought a bulk amount of debt off of like Bank of America. And they might have bought $30 million worth of debt for $1 million. And your debt's $5,000. They try to negotiate with you or try to get you to pay that $5,000, but it might be, oh, I can afford to pay $2,000. They might take it. So off that $30 million debt that they bought, as long as they get $1 million back of it, they're ahead. But like I say, that's the thing. They don't have all the information they need to come after you to collect it. And two, from what I am understanding, what you do is you send them a letter asking them basically for a wet ink contract signed that you owe them this debt to prove that debt, the amounts and the history of that debt. And when they can't do it in 30 days, you can get that dismissed. Like I say, your contract was originally with, like say, Bank of America, not with the debtor. So there's form letters out there you can get. There's things you can send them. There's a process to go around. I'm still kind of looking into that. Several people tell me it works. I don't know. But that is an option to get rid of some of that debt. The thing that has amazed me here, what I didn't realize and the lawyer didn't realize when I talked to him last week, is that credit card that sued me. Okay, the bankruptcy stopped them from pursuing me. The thing is, they have withdrew their claim. And he says he doesn't even understand why they did this. He says somebody should be fired for this. Because they didn't stay the judgment. They got a judgment against me. All they have to do is wait to either get paid by the bankruptcy or me to default on it like now, and then they can pursue legal action to come and try to collect that money by putting liens or whatever. But they didn't do that. They didn't stay the judgment. They withdrew the claim, the original filing for the court hearing. So right now, if they want to come after that debt, they got to go clear back to step one again and file a claim in court and go through court again to get a judgment against me. They removed everything about that judgment. So one, that doesn't bother me as much now. That gives me time to maybe work on this. But the thing is now here too, it's been over 1.5 years. October will be 2 years since I filed bankruptcy, and it's a 5-year plan. Now that it's been another 2 years, there's a chance this got lost in the system. Whether they make a claim against me or not, whether they take it to court, they may send it to a collection agency now. But this gives me more time here where I can go from, they say it might take another month or so to get this dismissed. And then it might be 2 or 3 months before any of these guys start coming after me, and then, like I say, the collection agencies, you can drag them out. This credit card, if they want to go after the court again, the lawyer said, if they send me anything, let him know. He can put stays and stuff on it and drag this out. And it's the same with a lot of these. A lot of these are small debts. So it's one thing with the filing bankruptcy, you tell them your debts. What they didn't tell me was that once you file bankruptcy, that flags your social security number, and then anybody that has a debt with your social security number can make a claim on the bankruptcy. Now, like my PayPal account, I wasn't going to do nothing. I mean, I had maybe $300 on it. I wasn't going to worry about that in bankruptcy, but that got flagged. That's all part of this. So now it's been another 2 years for $300. Are they going to pursue it? So that's why I say a lot of this might help in the end getting rid of this. Like I say, and it's all how you play the game nowadays. Now, my biggest concern was I had 4 payments left on that dump trailer when I filed bankruptcy, and my 4-wheeler I had roughly half paid off. Them are the only 2 things I had as secured debt. Everything else was unsecured debt. From the papers he printed out that day in the office, this is the accounting of where the money just went and who's been paid. The dump trailer's paid off. My 4-wheeler's paid off. Neither one of them have sent me a title yet. Because that's something, that dump trailer is something I could possibly sell. I really don't want to. It's kind of useful. But that is, because I don't have a title, I can't sell it. Well, that's where this bankruptcy's kind of two-wayed. Because basically when I file bankruptcy, they're no longer allowed to contact me. So it might be they're holding the title because technically, they can't hound me to make a payment, but they should be able to, this has been paid, send me the title. So that was paid over a year ago, and I still haven't got the title for it. And like I said, once this gets dismissed, I can maybe contact the finance company and get that title released or whatever if I have to. So them 2 things have been paid off. One other account on here has been paid off now. I forget which one it is, and I think another one was mostly paid. I think there's like 4 of these that were paid off. And hell, I just noticed a lot of these have 0 on them. Unsecured creditors, 0. So maybe I don't owe anything on these. I didn't go through these all that deep. But anyway, so even through this bankruptcy, several things have got paid off. Debt's been reduced. And like I say, there's a chance maybe some of these won't refile if it gets to bankruptcy again. So that's where I'm at here right now. There's got 2 options. Once this gets dismissed, you wait them out until see who's going to contact you, how much harassment you get. And I can either negotiate with them, settle up if I wanted to or could. Or eventually here, I can refile again Chapter 13. You can get dismissed from Chapter 13 once, and you can refile it once again. So now that the debt's been reduced, then we go through the process again where I file bankruptcy, they have to make their claims. If they don't make their claims, then it doesn't get on to bankruptcy. There's a 30-day or 60-day period, whatever they have to make claims. And if they don't, well, then I get another 5 years on whatever debt's been reported. So that reduces my payments down. Another option is, like I say, Chapter 12, which is farmers and fishery. And that one is going to be, like I say, the lawyer I'm dealing with doesn't deal with Chapter 12s. He had another lawyer from Pittsburgh call me and we talked. And there is some kind of iffy. Basically what she was said, that would be something. It's whether you can consider this farm an active farm. I'm still growing hay to sell, got cattle to sell, whatever. Next year if I plant corn and soybeans, it would be considered an active farm. Then you can do Chapter 12. It costs more, but it's more flexible. You can extend it out over 7 years, and you can schedule payments. Like say right now, August and September, most farmers, and especially grain farmers, have no real income. They basically got their bins cleaned out. They don't have nothing until the new crop comes in. So you can set this up where you have several months, like June, July, August, September, where you're only paying $300 or $400 a month. And then once you start getting your crops in to sell, October, November, then your payments will balloon up to $900. So there's flexibility there. Biggest thing is, I think chapter 12 would be more if you have land finance, bigger, more secured debt, land, bigger equipment, stuff like that. For the level of debt I have, what it is, like I say, it'd be iffy if we could fit that in there. But like I say, I always have the option going back to chapter 12 or chapter 13, and there's a good chance a lot of this debt might not get reported or brought back. So, and then hopefully by that time, if it does, maybe got a little more secure job lined up. Maybe I can get crops in next year, have an income that way. I have a feeling, I think there's a good chance who I'm going to go help here this fall. It might lead to something in the spring for the amount of ground he's covering. And if he's looking for help in this fall, he's got to be looking for help in the spring. So a lot of stuff I can do that way too. And like I say, it gives me more time to get a better plan or get more. But like I say, the way this country's going, I really doubt there's going to be much to fight for here in the next several months. Because, and that's the other reason why I put this out there. Because there's going to be a lot of farmers failing, getting out of it just because they can't afford to do it anymore. I just saw another one on TikTok today. Somebody walking through an empty barn, generation farm. A girl was sad or disappointed, family had to sell out. Big freestall barns, big silos. Watched another one last night, and like I said, I don't know if these are just recently or whether they're, posted like last year or something, but there was another one last night, big farm auction up in Wisconsin. I've seen at least 2 other farms, one in Wisconsin. I know he was struggling with stray voltage. I commented back and forth with him a little bit, and he finally sold out here about 2 months ago. And been several. And I say I went out here in April. I just found out here yesterday another farm sold cows last week. So right now, probably if you take the next farms, there's probably a farm maybe about 10 miles that way, one about 7 miles that way, one about, I think it's 19 miles to where I got to go bag. And that farm that sold out is just past her. So what used to be 50, 60 farms in this area, in that range, is now down to 3. Yeah, 3. So, there's going to be food shortages coming. These big farms ain't going to be able to compete. Eventually they're going to get stressed out. Inputs keep going up. There's going to be a lot more disappearing. And like I say, that's one reason why I posted these. Like I say, it's just my take, my understanding of how this works, what I've gone through. So kind of spell it out a little bit. But that's where I'm at here right now. Probably going to get the bankruptcy dismissed. That eases me up here for a little bit. And then we go from there. What happens, happens. Who knows? In the next couple months, the dollar might crash and ain't worth nothing. And nobody's going to have anything anyhow. So why should I be paying any more than these banks and stuff? Because it ain't the little guy that's going to make out in the end. All this bankruptcy does is help the bigger corporations get their money. And like I say, there ain't no help. So, I don't know how long I've rambled on this. But like I say, that's where I'm at here right now. Like I say, I probably shouldn't give this much information out there, but again, I'm not the only one going through this. This is just a tool to play the game with that you play in this world nowadays. And we go from there. You do what you can to survive. You just don't roll over and let everything go away just because it's the easier way to do it. So, I guess I gotta get cracking on some other stuff here. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch up to you later.